everyone, John12 back here again with another video, and today I'm back again with another John12's top 5 picks. Today is Friday the 13th. As you all know, it's a day of celebration, particularly for the slasher genre, the slasher franchise of Friday the 13th. I'm pretty sure everybody's doing their own marathons, and God knows what else they do, because everybody's crazy. But I was thinking of what could I do to celebrate this year's Friday the 13th, seeing as how most of the time I make a short film based around the franchise for Friday the 13th. Really fucking short. But seeing as how I'm kind of thrown against the ropes here, and I'm very time consumed, not to mention I'm extraordinarily lazy, I decided, fuck it, why not just do a top 5 based around Friday the 13th franchise. Today I'm doing my top 5 Friday the 13th death scenes. There's lots of things that could be said about the Friday the 13th franchise, but the biggest thing is body count. There's nothing that compares to the body count of Friday the 13th, and let's just get right down to it. Starting up at number 5 goes to the death of Kevin Bacon. In Friday the 13th Part 1, Kevin Bacon, before he became the star that he is today, got viciously killed while post-sex is laying down relaxing and then gets stabbed right through the neck with like an arrowhead. And it's vicious and bloody. And I don't know, I personally like it due to the fact that it's before like the big like slasher genre became a thing, you know, because this is prior to like how gory movies can get. Prior to that, you had stuff like Halloween that showed very minimal blood. Friday the 13th obviously said, fuck that, let's go full on blood, and of course that's due to the fact of they had Tom Savini, who of course at that point was mostly known for the George Romero films and, you know, the Dead series. So of course Friday the 13th already had a good foot in with blood and gore when it comes to Tom Savini. And of course he did most of the effects on Friday the 13th, and all of them were awesome, and some of my favorite scenes of all time. And Kevin Bacon's one of them. But moving off of that, going to number 4, has to be the death of Pamela Voorhees. Her death scene is just awesome. There's plenty of death scenes in horror movies and just in film in general. Gunshots, stab wounds, explosions, but nothing beats a good decapitation scene. You just can't beat a good decapitation when you're just fucking getting your head sliced off like you're a fucking chicken. It's just personally pretty badass, and it definitely holds up when you watch it. It's a little goofy from time to time, but I personally like it. I don't know, it's just one of those scenes like, this is a pre-CGI world where, this is back in the day when a guy put a fake head over his shoulders and fucking a person like Tom Savini just grabs like a real machete and just whacks it right off. That's pretty badass in and of itself. Personally, I like it. I personally love it. I think it holds up in the film, and it's just a cool death scene. But let's move off of that and go to number 3, which has to go to the wheelchair kid from, if I'm not mistaken, Friday the 13th Part 2. I personally like it because it's one of the sadder deaths. There's a lot of sad deaths scenes in Friday the 13th, but that's one of them that, I don't know, I personally watch and I feel bad right afterwards. It just feels like crap because and when you watch the movie, he's like one of the cool kids, you know? He's not one of those douchebags who's always trying to just get laid, you know? This is back in the 80s where people just wanted to get laid and get AIDS, and it was very simple to do both. And that's all that is Friday the 13th can say about that kind of stuff. But the kid was funny, he was cool, he was good looking, he was fucking awesome, and he was in a wheelchair, and fucking out of nowhere he's just, you know, just rolling around. It's raining as fuck, I think, and just gets whacked right in the face with a blade and just falls down like a fucking stairway. It's fucking funny, sad, depressing, and it's crazy. It's personally one of my favorite death scenes because it's so sad. You can't really say that about most deaths, but that one's pretty sad. But moving off at number 3, we move on to my second favorite death scene. And personally, I have to give it up to Friday the 13th Part 4, the death of that one guy. I forgot his name. I can't really remember his name, but he was the specific guy where Jason's in the basement, and it's super dark, you can't really see anything. And the guy goes down to try to beat him and kill him, and they kind of just fall around, and there's a whole death scene that's going around, and it's completely dark, you can't see anything, and that's one of my favorite death scenes, and majority of my favorite death scenes you can't really see, because I personally find the real thrill and craziness of a death scene when you can't really see it, because when you can't see it, your mind goes into different places and like imagines like all these crazy scenarios, and it's personally vicious. Like there's this image in my head when watching it that's my favorite amongst obvious others in that movie, but of course there's a perfect image where the girl she's standing upstairs just crying, like screaming what the fuck's going on, and the guy's just like run away. I don't know what the fuck he's saying, but he's getting fucking thrashed by fucking Jason. He's fucking gangbanging him. It's fucking awesome. It's personally my favorite scene. It's just in my head as a kid watching that, I was like, God, this is so scary. But let's move off of that and go to honorable mentions. Honorable mentions from Friday the 13th franchise. There's just so many to choose from, but let me just go right down the list. Jason X, I love the scene where Jason gets shot to death and becomes Uber Jason. I also like the scene where he grabs a girl's face, dunks it into that water, and she freezes and then smashes on the floor. I also like the scene where, let's see. Another good death scene has to be the scene where the kid gets his nuts really shut off, kind of, like Jason, they're in the water and Jason just grabs him with like the spear type gun thing and just picks him up like a lollipop by his nuts. That's pretty vicious and cool. Let's see, another death scene. The death of the sexy kids in the woods where they're having sex and Jason gets like shears and just stabs her right through that chick's fucking face. That's pretty cool. Also, the scene where Jason kills the squad of like paintball teammates and just tears off their arms and just viciously kills them. That's pretty cool as well. There's just a whole bunch of really cool and fucking awesome death scenes that I personally like. I mean, Jason has been to Manhattan, he's been to hell, he's been to space, and he's also faced off against another equally as known iconic slasher character. He's done it all. So, of course, all you have to do if you want to get a good death scene is just watch 1 through Z and just fucking see what the fuck's happening. And personally, let's get it up to number 1, which has to be my personal favorite, which is a scene where I can't really remember. I think it was in Jason Lives, I think, was the movie where Jason grabs, I think his name is Sheriff Garris or something, and he grabs him and just snaps him in half. That's pretty badass. I mean, like, that's just cool. I love it when Jason just brutally kills someone with his hands, with his just pure strength. That's what I like to see, because the machete and weaponry occasionally is cool to see from time to time, but at this point in the franchise, when you've seen it all at this point, you just want to see Jason just viciously kill someone with his bare hands, and that's pretty badass, and my personal favorite. And I also think it's Kane Hodder's personal favorite death scene. I think I heard him say that once in an interview, that was his favorite death scene that Jason does in the franchise, and it's personally my favorite too. So that's going to be it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, but this has been subjective. This is my top 5. What's your top 5? Hope you guys enjoy your Friday the 13th marathons, and I hope you guys enjoy a good Friday the 13th. Happy Friday the 13th, and hope you guys enjoy. This is my top 5 Friday the 13th death scenes.